Hi, and thank you for joining me for the final video in the current Not So Secret Life series. In my last interview, I promised to give an update after a couple of months when I hoped I would be completely over my manic-depressive episode. That video was recorded 4 months ago, and whilst my health has improved, in some respects, it's declined in others. Unfortunately for anyone watching with bipolar disorder, or as I call it, manic depression, or for those with friends and family with the condition, that is simply the nature of the beast. Previously, I suggested that I would have another interview-style video. However, whilst interview questions are structured, my answers were not. And as I'm 6 months into a manic-depressive cycle, the chances of me delivering any comprehensive or considered responses to questions are slim. I've therefore decided to record without questions and use a pre-prepared script. On release of this video, I will start to upload all videos, including clips that have not yet been released, to the Not So Secret Life website and a new YouTube channel. In addition, I will be creating new profiles on Instagram and Facebook, which relate solely to the Not So Secret Life. The primary purpose of all these channels is to provide my own uneducated viewpoint on manic-depressive illness, something that affects between 2% and 5% of the UK population, in a manner that I hope will be relevant to those diagnosed with the condition, their loved ones, their friends, and the general public. All social media posts and the majority of the website will be made entirely public, with the exception of some of the topics which may be a little more difficult for some to watch. Before I go on, I'd like to say that overall, I received a fantastic response from many people after releasing my first few videos on social media. However, I want to reiterate that despite the spin-off benefits these videos have had on my health, I'm not filming, nor have I filmed any of these interviews or broadcasts to gain sympathy. Indeed, I offer my sincere apologies to anyone who, on watching, may have thought otherwise. On reflection, and having rewatched the films, I too may take a similar view. But it's also essential to point out that they were recorded mid-episode, shortly after a crisis, and portray very raw emotion. That's the way I wanted it. And that's the way I hope others with the condition, or those with loved ones who suffer from the disorder, are able to watch and relate. I therefore make a pledge that I won't re-record, I won't substantially edit, or otherwise change the recordings prior to releasing them on my website. However, I have taken on board some of the comments of others, and note that whilst it's always been my intention to provide full public access to all of my videos, and whilst I've endeavoured to show manic depression in terms of its glories and its indignities, there are very clear red lines. It's impossible to talk about mental illness without addressing the darker topics or the graver symptoms. But those topics are not always suitable for all to hear. To a manic depressive, many of us do not wish to feel alone in having tragic thoughts, and need to know that others have experienced the same, taking some comfort in the fact that we can relate and hopefully recover. For that reason, I will be regrouping some of the videos, and will be moving any elements that discuss suicidal thoughts and actions to a separate section of the website, with warnings, age verification, or passwords. These videos will not be made public on YouTube, on Instagram, or on Facebook. However, they will be published out of respect for those who may need to hear the experience of others. Being completely honest, and contrary to any suggestions of sympathy craving or attention seeking, I'd say that filming these videos leaves me feeling vulnerable, open to judgment and a target for criticism. The previous videos showed a man who, within the space of 3 days, showed signs of elevation, agitation, flatness, and calm, in a way that I've rarely seen in a public broadcast. Indeed, that was my clear intention, It's opened some very personal attributes of my struggle with mental illness to many. Whilst that may not be considered the case, talking openly about mental health, and in particular mental illness, is still hard, and is still a topic that is discussed with the same reservedness as homosexuality in the 1960s, or even sex in the 1890s. I am, however, happy, and to an extent, pleased that I was able to show some attributes of a mixed state of bipolar manic-depressive illness, with the sole hope that at least one person will be able to identify and relate. So just to recap, I want to promote awareness of a condition that affects between 2 and 5% of the UK population. I want to reach out to other sufferers, including those who are not yet diagnosed, to let them know they're not alone. Whilst my current symptoms may not be the same as theirs, or my previous ones for that matter, we do have a degree of commonality. Finally, I also want to reach out to the families, friends, loved ones, and those that know people with manic depression. I don't want to give an insight into the feelings of their kith and kin. How could I? I don't even know them. But maybe it's important to point out that it is okay that they maybe don't understand the illness. It's also okay and absolutely acceptable that they perhaps can't comprehend.